Kingdom Kids. We've had a busy week.
We want you to be excited and come see what we've been doing. Most people want to run when they see these fuzzy yellow and black creatures buzzing around, but they are actually pretty calm insects. They are also important to our world, and they can teach us valuable lessons.
Let's go take a look.
Bees are an essential part of our world. As bees collect nectar from flowers, they accidentally carry pollen, that yellow stuff that makes us sneeze, to other plants or flowers.
This is called pollination, which helps flowers and plants reproduce. Bees also pollinate wild plants that provide food and shelter to insects, birds, and animals that live in nature.
And we can't forget the importance of honey.
Yum!
Honeybees are the only insect that produces a food that humans eat.
Honey also has health benefits, antibacterial properties, and it's made without chemicals. It's also a healthier option for us to use as a sweetener.
Bees also make a substance called beeswax that is used to make the honeycomb that holds the honey. Beeswax is also used to make furniture polish, beauty products, chewing gum, candles, and lip balm.
Bees also help provide jobs and income to millions of people. Many farmers grow crops that require pollination from bees.
We have 212,000 beekeepers in the United States who employ workers to help on their bee farms. Bees carry the world on their backs.
So the next time you think of swatting a bee, think twice, because we could not exist without them.
Have you ever heard the phrase busy as a bee? Well, it's true.
Bees are some of the hardest workers found in nature. A worker bee will make 10 field trips a day and visit 400 flowers.
And it takes 2 million flowers to make 1 pound of honey.
Bees don't mind working hard because they care about their hive. The harder they work, the more productive and happier their colony will be.
Here we have the life cycle of the honeybee family. Inside every hive, there's a queen bee, worker bees, and drone bees. The queen bee and worker bees are the females, and the drone bees are males. Look at their differences.
Inside the hive, you start out as a baby larva or bee, and it takes 3 weeks to become adult bee, and then you've got to get busy. The first thing they do is make these little cells that look like tiny apartments. They have to clean them, they have to provide food inside of each of them, feed the babies, produce wax, build combs, guard the entrance, and then
at 3 weeks old, they learn to fly and go searching for flowers. And remember, they go to 400 flowers every day, and they bring back nectar to the hive.
And did you know that there's a honey season? That's because they need these flowers to make the nectar to make the honey. So there is a season, but in the wintertime, they kick out the drones, and then they just live off the leftover honey inside the combs until the next honey season. Ah, that sweet nectar.
Delicious. Every bee has a job in the bee colony. The queen lays the eggs, and the workers find nectar in the flowers and make honey.
But what about the drone bees? They don't have a stinger, so they can't defend the hive. They don't gather nectar, they don't make honey, and they don't lay eggs. So it may seem like they're a little worthless. But no one in the hive is worthless.
The drones help feed the babies. They may not have the highest position in the beehive, but their responsibilities are important and they give it their all.
God made every bee in the hive for a reason, just like He makes each one of us for a reason, giving us special spiritual gifts to share with others. No matter what your gifts, your job is important. Today we are at Honeysuckle Hill Bee Farm, and our new friend Miss Tanya is going to tell us a little bit about being a beekeeper. Check this out.
So, to give you a little overview of taking care of bees. First off, we start off with the nuke box. This is one of their hives. The bottom one is the brood box. This is where all the baby bees are at, down in the bottom. And the top boxes is where they store honey. We use our hive tool and a smoker, and then we have frames that the bees will build the honeycomb. But we start out with an empty frame to start with. They build out the honeycomb so that it looks like this. And down below, where the bees are, right now there's no bees in here, just pictures of bees. This is what a frame would typically look like. If the bees would be all over, you got the pollen, honey, and tiny little white dots is the eggs. Is a frame of honey. No baby bees in this one. There's all honey. And on the other side, we see a queen bee. And if you look real close, she's much larger than her worker bees around her. This here is a picture showing the different sizes of the bees. And you'll see that the worker bees are the smallest. The boy bees, the drones is what they're called, they're kind of more stocky and strong. And then the queen bee is the largest one. So when she's a little bit older, then she does wax building. Her glands in her stomach will make wax, and so then her job is to build honeycomb for the wax, for the honey. Then she will begin storing the honey, putting the honey into the honeycomb. And then the last job is going to be a guard bee. She will stand at the entrance of the hive and guard the beehive from any intruders. So 3 weeks inside the hive, she's a house bee. And the last job is being a guard. Then, at 3 weeks old, she becomes a field bee. And she flies out every day, going to gather the nectar from the flowers and bringing it back in for the colony. And the funny thing about it is when she flies back, she doesn't walk all the way back up to the top to store the honey. No. The young bees, they transfer. So one bee is here waiting, and a field bee will fly in and say, "Unload me, here I am." The house bee comes up, stores it, and the field bee goes back to go get more. A bee lives 6 weeks. That's their lifespan. 3 weeks inside as a house bee, 3 weeks outside the hive as a field bee, doing the work every day, flying and bringing in the nectar. But together, they work together as a team and as a whole to take care of the colony, the hive. I understand that one of your favorite words as a Kingdom Kid is share. Here, the bees share. Even when they run out of resources, they will share the last drop of honey. Now let's talk about the fun part, getting the honey. So we take a frame that's full of honey. This one's not, but if it was full of honey, we put it in an extractor. You cut the capping off, put it down inside. I have another frame that's empty, but we'll put it down in there. Close it. And what we're going to do is we're going to spin it, and the honey will be flung out of the frames and go down into the spigot where we collect the honey in a bucket. And then the frames, all the honey is out, and we put the frames back on the hives for them to clean it.
Okay, right now Miss Tanya and Miss Jill are suiting up in their beekeeper outfits, and we are going to visit the hive. Good luck, Miss Jill.
I hear them buzzing.
This is a large beehive, and these are called new bees. They're very young. But look at all of the different hives that they have here. Different sizes because they're doing different jobs. So this large hive is probably going to have up to 60,000 bees inside. We want to thank Miss Tanya for welcoming us to her hive at Honeysuckle Hill Bee Farm. We've had a great time today learning about bees. I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Won't my mommy be so proud of me? I'm bringing home a baby bumblebee. Ouch! It stung me! It's time for Did You Know? Must be a girl.
That's right, because all worker bees are females and only female bees can sting because males have no stinger.
Bees have 4 wings, 5 eyes, and they can fly 20 miles per hour.
Bees have been around about 30 million years and are found on every continent except Antarctica.
The reason bees are so noisy is because they beat their wings 11,400 times per minute.
Male bees are called drones and live in the colony in spring and summer, but are kicked out before winter.
A colony of bees may fly over 55,000 miles to make just 1 pound of honey.
The type of flower the bee gets their nectar from determines the flavor of the honey.
A cousin of the honeybee is the bumblebee, which was originally called a humblebee. They live up to their original name because even though they are rather large bees, they are very gentle and good-natured.
Unlike other bees, they do not form swarms and they rarely sting. But if you bother one of them, they may tell you to back off by sticking out their middle leg.
These fuzzy, cute bumblebees are humble just like Jesus.
When you do things, do not let selfishness or pride guide you, but be humble and give more honor to others than yourself.
And now it's time for a song.
Hey Kingdom Kids, it's Miss Melinda and I have some friends with me today and we're going to sing the song called We Are One in the Spirit. The first verse talks about we're one in the Spirit and they'll know we're Christians by our love. The second verse says we will work with each other and together we'll spread the news that God is in our land. And then the chorus again is they'll know we're Christians by our love. You ready guys? Here we go. I'll give us the first note. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. We are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord. And we pray that all unity may one day be restored. And they'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we are Christians by our love. We will work with each other. We will work with each other. We will work hand in hand. We will work with each other. We will work hand in hand. And together we'll spread the news that God is in our land. And they'll know we are Christians by our love, by our love. Yes, they'll know we're Christians by our love. Thank you guys, and thank you Kingdom Kids. And remember, they will know we are Christians by our love. You show some love this week and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Our friends, the McGee family, works together as a team to produce hundreds of jars of honey to share with family and friends.
And it is a major undertaking to extract the honey from a comb. From start to finish, it requires cooperation, patience, and a positive attitude all day long.
Check this out.
So it comes out the spout and there's your honey.
Honeybees will fly up to 8 miles to find nectar. And when they do, they like to share the good news with others.
Then they immediately make a beeline back to the hive and then do a little waggle dance to let everyone else know where they found the nectar so they can go get some too.
As Christians, we want to share the good news of Jesus with the rest of our hive and other hives too.
Just like bees love to share the good news, so should we.
Honeybees serve others by not only feeding their own colony, but bees in other colonies too. They are social insects who like to be with each other.
They are also very devoted to their queen and their fellow sisters, and they're willing to sacrifice their own life for the well-being of their hive. They're also very willing to rush to help in moments of distress.
If a beekeeper accidentally pokes a hole in the honeycomb, a bee will quickly notice the damage and go to repair it within seconds.
God wants us to be like the honeybee. Do good, share with others, and love each other as He has loved us.
Honeybees are the best of the best when it comes to team players. In a healthy hive, there are about 50,000 bees, which produce 60 to 100 pounds of honey each year.
Wow! And the amazing thing is that each bee only makes about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey during its short 6-week life. But bees can make a lot of honey when they work together as a team.
They trust each other to carry out their duties and depend on one another to get the job done. If one bee falls behind, the other bees will step up and do the work so production of the hive stays on task.
On God's team, each member is important, and God created us and the bees to support each other and to work together as a team. The Bible says, 2 are better than 1. Sometimes you might see a bee not moving for a really long time. You might even think it's dead. But it's not. Sometimes bees have flown for many miles and they miscalculate their journey back to their hive. They're exhausted and they need something to eat. So what can we do? You can mix a special drink called Revive-A-Bee. Mix together 1 tablespoon of water and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Let's give it a try. Here, little bee. It worked! It's time for some honey. Fun facts.
Eating honey makes you smarter. It has an antioxidant that improves brain functions.
Well, we both need that. And honey is 80% sugar and 20% water. It is the only food that includes everything necessary to support life. Plus, it never spoils.
A bee colony makes more honey than they need to survive the winter, and a beekeeper only takes the extra.
North Dakota is the #1 honey producing state. It produced 38 million pounds in 2020. Eat up. What a fun and busy day we've had learning about bees. We want to say a special thank you to the McGee family and Honeysuckle Bee Farm for their wonderful participation.
Bees benefit us all, and we should thank God for giving us the gift of bees. We eat their honey, rely on them to help grow our food, and we use their wax. We cannot live without them.
So take a lesson from the bee family and be a sweeter Christian so the lives of those around you will be pleasant as honey.
Best news is that God will help you.
Have a great week, boys and girls, and we'll see you next time. Bye.